the button. Perfect. It's recording. So now we are ready to start. So let me say that again. Welcome, 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 everyone. Let me invite you to join our beautiful guest tonight and myself for a dream job interview. Now, you might be curious, what are we actually going to talk about, right? Because this is for the very first time. I've had this idea for the last 2 years, and if you don't know who I am, actually, my name is Adriana Kosowska. I am the founder of the platform Zero to Dream Job that is dedicated to support employees who feel stressed, upset, fed up, or maybe just simply frustrated in their careers right now, and they are looking for that dream job or to achieve their career ambitions. And tonight, I've approached an amazing lady, Ena Bautista. I hope I've said it right. I can imagine it's a challenge for people to make sure that they pronounce it correctly. Yeah. But Ena will introduce herself. She will tell us where she comes from. Right now, you can know her as a confidence and the empowerment coach. But her journey to where she is right now wasn't always, that amazing. She went through challenges, and she will tell us a lot more about it during the whole interview. So, Ena, I'm going to pass it over to you. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us who is Ena?
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Ena Bautista, as Adriana has said, and I'm a confidence and empowerment coach, or better yet, I'm a Become Unstoppable Now coach. And I help you become unstoppable, whether you're in employment or if you're running a business. I help you unlock that power within you so you are unstoppable. There's nothing stopping you from reaching your full potential, to unlock that absolutely limitless potential within you that I know all of us have. And I help you get rid of all those things that keep you stuck, the beliefs that we have adopted from the society, things that we were told that, oh, just stay there, don't make a fuss and just stay where you are, where they have told us this is how your life should look like. And, we've accepted those beliefs as ours, and we just stop dreaming what's possible. And I help you unlock that.
Wow. Fantastic.
I come from, and I just want to say, I come from Croatia, but right now I live in London, UK.
Fantastic. So that was a really nice introduction, on short one, and we will discover a lot more about your journey step by step. So we have loads of, I would say, nice experiences that we are going to share, but also the ones that we might not like to talk about, right? Because when it comes to sharing success and good experiences, I think that's very easy for us, right? And especially employees. But when you're going through difficult time, when you really face challenges, when you experience things that you cannot even sometimes explain for yourself, like you might feel that you're on the right career path, you invested time, money, energy to get where you are, and all of a sudden everything just stops making sense for you because you feel that there is this inner calling that is calling you to do something else, what you already know, right? So there are fears, there is confusion, there is maybe lack of confidence to break through. Plus also, as you mentioned, sometimes we have to face those, I would say, initial obstacles where our loved ones, our friends, and even people around us at work challenge if what we really want to do is the right thing for us, right? Because we kind of break the ideas that they have, the expectations on us that we have. So I have the first question for you, and that question is,
go for it.
As a child, did you have a dream job at all? And if you did, what was it?
So I did have a dream job. So when I was a child, I wanted to be an accountant. Of all things, I remember I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, and I loved playing with papers and forms and fill out the boxes. That was like, oh yes, I want to do. And then just like the calculator, I was all in. And then, you would think that that was my dream job and I would be happy with after doing that. I did go to school to, study the accounting and everything in Croatia. But basically, by that time, I just hated it. I hated every single bit of it. It was there was no pleasure in it. And for me, it just felt, that felt like a secure thing to do. I started going into that, but because that is a safe thing to do, I've heard from everyone, like you study hard, you get good grades, you go to school, go to study even harder, then you get a job, and that's it. You're supposed to be happy, happy with that.
And may I ask, what was it that was influencing that decision, right? Because in my country, it was quite similar. I come from Slovakia, and, uh, I was by profession accountant as well as my first choice. And I could really see how much that decision was impacted, looking back, how much that decision was impacted by, I would say, the choices that were available to us at the time.
Oh,
So
yes,
what
exactly.
was it that influenced your
I think
decision?
I think it was exactly the same as you. So there were not many choices. And sometimes in society, the expectations of society, definitely, the people around you, the teachers and everyone, it's just like, these are the available options and you're just supposed to go into one of these slots, select, and that's it. You didn't have as many options as you have today. And no one was even curious about finding out different options. I think that was it. The highest of, something that's out there was if someone was studying IT, information technology. That's like, whoa, so advanced. That's something out there. And for me, it was just, that's not me.
Yeah.
It turned out not to be true later on, but yeah.
And how old were you when you realized this was not for you? I know it's not.
I actually didn't accept that, basically. I didn't accept, deep down I knew, but I wasn't so tuned into my intuition. I didn't know. It was just like, oh, you just do it. And then I finished high school, got the job at the age of 19. And it was, again, something completely different. I became like a secretary in a law firm, which had nothing to do with the accounting, but that's another safe job. And then I went to be an assistant to notary public. And then the last job before I moved here was being assistant to the judge. So I worked in court and typing during the court meetings and trials.
Quite responsible work as well, I can imagine.
Yes, very responsible. That was me always.
Yeah. And I would say sorry.
Yeah. That was, for a long time, that was me. Do the responsible thing, do the right thing.
So what happened after? I know you shared when we spoke before this interview that you met the love of your life and you decided to do a very crazy thing, and that was to move countries and follow your heart. So what happened after?
So while I was still working in court as a typist, I met a man online. So I went full rebel mode. I stopped listening to what everyone was saying. So I met someone online. We had a long distance relationship for a couple of years. We got married, and imagine like the shock and horror of everyone else when they found out that's what I did. And then in 2013, we made a decision that, it's time to settle down. So I was here for a visit, decided that's it, I'm moving to the UK, went home to Croatia, quit my job. And within 2 weeks, I was back here with one suitcase. And everyone was like, what are you doing? That's so insecure. But I left a stable job. I had, in Croatia, when you have a permanent job and you work within the public service, and it's just like you're sorted out for work until you retire.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone, that's the unthinkable, to just quit. Nobody quits, you know, it's so difficult to find a job. So when you have something, you don't just like leave it all away. And that's what I did. I just felt like I gotta take this chance. Otherwise, how is my marriage going to turn out if I don't take this step? Because that was the opportunity. So I took it, and it was a tough decision, because I left everything that I knew,
Mm-hmm.
my family, my friends, and came into something that I don't know. It's completely different. And it felt like I came from one small village to a big bustling like town, a concrete jungle, let's say. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, what the heck am I doing? But yeah, turned out all right.
Turned out all right. And actually, it turned out better than just all right. And we were
Yeah.
sure about it a bit more. So that's coming because you transformed your career amazingly
Oh,
from
yes.
working as a cleaner through setting up your business as a virtual assistant. And then there was an event that really changed your life. And we're going to share more about it. But I just wanted to give the opportunity to people who are watching us right now. Please do say, let me just see on the phone, or maybe even we can check together if we have any comments. And guys, I would
I
like to
want.
invite you also to participate in our interview. So if you have question for Anna, she's got an amazing story and she's going to tell us more about how she's managed to deal with not just transforming her career, but to
Mhm.
do that as well while she felt pregnant and she was taking care of the baby, right? Because it's easy when you don't have anyone else to take care of, but when you have children, you have family, it's not just you. You kind of need to really take into your consideration and decision also the people that you are taking care of. But so if you have any questions, I'd like to invite you, please put it in the comments below the interview. And at the end, we will dedicate some time also to your questions, and we will pick a few questions. So if you're curious, actually, let me rephrase that. Not if you are curious. Let's be curious. Let's be unstoppable, because I believe you do have amazing aspirations when it comes to achieving your career dreams, or maybe business dreams as well, because it's not about making the distinction between this is job, this is business. They are kind of interlinked. So feel free to drop them in the comments below our interview, and we will pick few of your questions and we will ask Anna what you'd like to know. So let's be curious and let's continue. So what's happened after that, Anna? You said that you moved, right? And then what? Like, how did you actually? Because it must feel quite strange when you leave such, I would say, prestigious job, right? Working in the legal sector, I would say, is a secure job, and then all of a sudden you start from nowhere, from zero, working as a cleaner, right? How did it feel for you?
That felt, how do I say it? In a way, humiliating. I felt really not humiliated, but I felt so low. I felt like I had lost everything. And, you know, before I moved, for a very, very long time, whenever I mentioned, you know, my situation with my husband, everyone was telling me, why don't you just give up? And
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason why I want to mention this. Everyone was telling me, why don't you just give up? You know, even before we got married, find someone who is local, you know, have a normal relationship, because for them, having a long distance relationship was so unthinkable.
Mm-hmm.
And they were telling me, why don't you just find someone who is local, marry someone who is local? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how can that kind of marriage survive? How can that function? And good that I didn't listen to those voices, because for me, deep down, I knew this was the right thing to do for me. I felt it
Mm-hmm.
was right. So when I moved here, I left everything, um, you know, and decided it was my decision. It was still so difficult,
Mm-hmm.
because suddenly I found myself, you know, back in Croatia. Everyone knew me. I went down the street and everyone was waving, asking, how am I? I go to the court. I know solicitors. I know, like, I have an amazing network of
Mm-hmm.
people that know me. that recognize me. I have an amazing network of friends, going out for coffee. I just call, oh, let's go for a coffee. Then we go together. And then I come here, and then it's all gone. You do not have the connections. You do not have the security of the job. You don't have anyone to call and say, oh, let's go for a coffee. And I felt so low. And when I looked to start up a business, I thought to myself, you know, who's going to work with me? I'm just like a girl from Croatia. Like, my skills are not good enough. And the only thing that I felt worthy of or capable of doing at the time was as a cleaner. And, you know, there's nothing wrong in being a cleaner, because it's an amazing job. And, you know, I have huge respect for people who do that. But for me, it felt like I was so high, and now I'm like low cleaning people's toilets. And I felt it was just a reflection of my mindset, a horrible mindset. And I didn't believe in myself. And from there, I just did that for, I think it was over a year. And then I went for a holiday with my husband. We went to see his family. And I did something unthinkable. I'm claustrophobic, scared of closed spaces. And I did helmet diving. So you get a huge helmet over your head and go 2 meters under the water. And I did that. And I thought to myself, you know what? If I did that, what else is possible? Like, what if all these fears that I had are just like in my head, and I can actually do this? And by the end of the holiday, I went on paragliding, and I was terrified of heights. And after I did that, I was like, whoa, yes, I did it. I was so happy. You know, like, I wasn't freaked out. And this is where, like, there was a seed in my mind, the thought, if all these things that I've done, I've managed to do, even though I thought there's no way I could do that, what else is possible? And then I started searching, and then I found the term virtual assistant. And then that sounded something like I could do. And then I basically just researched, I started very plain. So my virtual assistant skills were very basic. But over the time, I taught myself other things. So I taught myself how to build sales pages, like websites. And so I just got curious. And then there was one event. I've been working as a virtual assistant for a while. And there was this one lady hosting a live event. All of those were like, all the attendees were coaches. And I was just, again, someone who stood out, who, like, in general, if you think about it in those closed terms, I wasn't supposed to be there, but yet I was there. And then when I saw what those coaches were able to do, I thought to myself, oh, what if I could be a coach? And again, another thought, a seed of hope or idea came to me. And I thought to myself, oh, perhaps I could be a coach. And then I just took it from there. You know, I worked as an assistant, and I hired a coach who practiced NLP. And when I worked with her, it was absolutely such a huge transformation, because it sent me on a path of really changing how I felt, and, you know, deep inside. There were times before I worked with her, she gave me a note. Okay, she said, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, I'm smart. And I couldn't say those words. They felt so untrue when I looked at myself. I was like, that's a lie. And I cried, I can't say this. And luckily, with her help, I overcame this. And I told myself, okay, perhaps I can do something like that, because I've went through all these experiences in my life. And, you know, I'd really love to do that. And as I worked as a virtual assistant, I saw clients, but I didn't have the tools to help them. I saw them struggle you know, having those limiting beliefs, even themselves. They were hiring me to do virtual assistant work, but I could see that there's so much more that I could help them with. And then I decided to study to become a coach, an NLP practitioner.
Super. And I loved how you explained that evolution of it, because sometimes we live with the perception that a dream job has to be one thing and it has to stay that way for the rest of my life, right? And I remember that the similar experience coming from an accountant, turning into not even knowing what the next step would be and exploring. But you said something really interesting when you mentioned about the virtual assistant, that you went from having a job as a cleaner and a respected job, especially now very important in times of Corona, right? For instance, this is the times which actually it made it even more visible to us. But you said that you went to work as a virtual assistant, which is freelancing. So it's completely different in terms of how your job or career is set up, right? Because when you're at work, you have your manager appraising you or maybe helping you to set your goals
As
or
a
giving the
cleaner,
reviews.
I
And
was, sorry to interrupt you. As a cleaner, I was still running my own business, but it was, yeah, I was still self-employed and looking for clients. But going from there to being a virtual assistant, it was still a huge shock.
mm-hmm.
And even when I worked in Croatia, learning how to run a business, it
Mm-hmm.
was a mind-blowing experience. It was mind-blowing because it's just like, what the heck do I do?
Mm-hmm. Right. And often I get the question where people say, okay, I'd love to start running my business, whether it's in accounting, cleaning, whatever. But then people go, but where the heck do I find my first client, right? And we know that running your career as a business, freelancing business, or starting your own company, it's not, starting a business is not just about creating a business plan. The business really starts running when you start generating income and when you get your first client.
Yes,
So how
exactly.
did you get your first clients?
Oh my goodness. Whew. So as a cleaner, I went to the local shop,
Mm-hmm.
posted my services, and then I went to the local shops, asked whether I can put a note in there, and someone saw it, rang me, oh, can you come? And we arranged it from there.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of becoming a virtual assistant, that was a whole nother ball game, because advertising online, trying to find work online,
Mm-hmm.
establishing your network, it was a huge, completely different experience. And I was like, what do I do now? And I think, how did I get my client? Yeah, it was through a networking event, but then majority of the rest of the clients came through online. So I did a couple of I offered a couple of free things to do. And it was mostly just to showcase my expertise, to get their recommendation, to get recognized. But basically, I just kept on providing value. And then I got one client. She was so happy with how I worked. And then she recommended me. And basically, my VA business grew from, grew as a via word of mouth, basically. And I didn't have to advertise much, because it was so powerful. And at a certain point, I had to refuse clients because I couldn't take anyone on who just like, oh, can you help me? And then I got the really good reputation in terms of that. So I didn't have to do much.
Fantastic. And what would you recommend to someone who is just starting, doesn't have many connections, doesn't know where to start, and is even thinking like, who the hell would want to work with me, and I simply don't know what to start. And I'm scared. I'm really scared, because I really resonate with this, that it's nice once you break through it, but when you're dead in that moment and you have to break through your fear of visibility, get yourself out there and tell people, Hey,
What do you do?
what do you do? How do you break through that fear? What would you
uh,
recommend to people in terms of confidence and fear of visibility?
so one thing that I have learned over the past couple of years, not one thing, but one of the things is that, and I struggled this one with myself. I wouldn't show up because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to make a mistake. Who's going to listen to me and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff? And then I remembered someone told me that it's not about you. It's about them, your ideal client, because they
Mm-hmm.
are looking for a solution.
Right.
So instead of focusing on how you are feeling, and then, it sounds rough, but at the end of the day, you have to remember that there are people out there who need your help.
Mm-hmm.
They need your expertise. They need your all the years of experience, your education, everything that you have. And your energy at the end of the day. There will be millions of people who are out there who might be doing the same job as you are, or work or business, running the same business as you are, but your energy is different. And people will connect to you, and they won't connect to others. So just remember that there is someone out there who needs what you have. And keep that in mind, because at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, if you keep on being of service, people will recognize that. And I don't recommend doing a lot of work for free,
Mm-hmm.
because then it can really kill your confidence.
Yeah.
But if that will if that will help you go, and it depends on work again, but find the way how you can make that like a good energetic exchange. So they have to do something and you have to do something, so there's a sense of responsibility on the other side as well. So if you
Right.
want to do a bit of work for a testimonial, do it, but make a limit on it.
Mm-hmm.
And don't do like millions, but show up, engage with people, show them your expertise. If you're online, show that you understand their problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is what I found most important, like, and most powerful. Show up there with your expertise, show them what you've got.
And also what I'm hearing is set the expectations right? Because
Yes, exactly.
business
If
is
you
not a
choose to,
charity. You need
yes,
to know when is enough for you, and maybe even
exactly.
right from the beginning get into the stage of, yes, I'm offering this for free, but it's this number of sessions, or this is the service that I'm offering, and it is in exchange for something, maybe
Testimonial, yes,
to
exactly.
testimonial, share the case study. So it is a win-win for both, and you don't feel like you're doing somebody a favor, but you're not
Exactly. And
getting
you're not
anything back,
just
right?
giving, so you're properly compensated for that. And I think this is where some people make a mistake, is just like not creating boundaries. And it's, if you want to do that, if you choose to do something for free,
Mm-hmm.
create a boundary, because at the end of the day, you'll get more respect from the other side. Otherwise, they're just going to drag you around and,
Mm-hmm.
not abuse, but, they'll take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And, it's not just about them taking an advantage. It's about, even in relationships, even in everyday situations. This is what I can tell you. If you don't set up boundaries, people will keep on crossing them because they
Mm-hmm.
don't know where those boundaries
Yeah.
are.
They
So
think it's normal.
yes, exactly. And I experienced this one before. People would say, "Oh, Anna, you're going to do this," and I didn't say anything, but
Mm-hmm.
inside me, I would be boiling, like, I don't want to do that, or, come on, like, just do this with us. And I would do it because I didn't set up boundaries, instead of saying, "No, you know what? I really don't want to do that. I
Yeah.
really don't want to do that." And then people will assume a boundary if you don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then deep inside, you will feel resentful, you will feel unhappy. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, set up boundaries in business and in private life,
Yeah.
and
Very
work as
clear.
well. So important.
Yeah.
I did
Sometimes
that.
it's also about how we do it, right? Because if you want to grow your career, right, it's important to learn how to say no, but also
Exactly.
not to create the image or perception that you don't want to be helpful, but it's more about priorities, because this is also sometimes what we are seeing. And from my experience of working with employees who are really burned out, overwork, it comes from starting to work very long hours because the work is piling up, and then not having these clear boundaries, like right now is the time to go home. Or if my manager or boss comes towards me and asks me if I would like to do this, then yes, might feel uncomfortable because it's your manager, you are reporting to him or to her, and you don't want to say, actually, no, I'm not going to do it. But there is a powerful way perhaps how to do it. Do you have any tip or recommendation as a confidence and empowerment coach for that?
So I used to do it the wrong way around. So, if someone asked me, I was like, no, like, because you get so resentful deep inside, and you're so unhappy, and then you just burst out without saying it. And I would highly recommend, if you are saying no, before you say no, don't say it because you're upset that they're even asking you. Say no with love. And that's a really but like, say no out of love for yourself and out of love for them. Say it out of respect for yourself, and say, you know what, I'm really not comfortable doing this. I don't have time, I'm too tired. Thank you for thinking of me, thank you for this opportunity, but I'm really not comfortable of doing this. And there were times when I had to refuse clients, and I would say, that's again a boundary, or for me it was a boundary. And I would say, you know what, as much as I'd love to help you, for me this I cannot help. The way I see it, I'm not a really good person to help you out right now. In a different, like in business, in job, it's going to be a bit different, but simply just say, I can't. I really can't do it right now, and that's it. Sometimes there's no need to overcomplicate and over explain and justify.
Yeah.
Because then someone will pick you on, oh, can you do this? Because they'll start looking for those reasons. You just say, no, I can't.
And it's powerful enough.
Exactly. That's no is a full sentence. It's like a complete answer. I do not, and this is it. I do not owe anyone, not even a boss. I know it's like out there to think about it, but once you get to that stage, and you know what, I promise you, there are people out there who work with you who do exactly the same things. And those are the people that you might be even secretly hating. It might be a strong word, but I was so jealous of those people because there were people in my workplace that absolutely said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And my boss or whoever it is, they don't know. Oh, I can't ask her. So I'll go to Ena because Ena says no to it, doesn't say no to anything. She's going to do everything.
Yeah.
So basically have established those boundaries. And even if you've been doing, doing everything for everyone, you can still establish those boundaries and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with doing this any longer. I'm not going to be staying longer for an hour, half an hour, or whatever anymore.
Perfect.
And it's up to them to get used to it at the end of the day.
True, but let us right now stop here for a second and let's check if we have any questions. And
let me check. We have 5 people watching.
Fantastic. So whoever is watching us, if you have question for Ena, don't be shy and ask your question because we still have time.
Yes, shoot away. I'm happy to answer.
Shoot away, she's happy to answer. Also, if you have any question for me, but our Ena is guest tonight, so she's the priority for us tonight.
There is one question. So do you have any tips on advice for a person that wants to do a 100-degree career change to completely different area industry with almost no experience, no diploma, but only very big passion? How to stay calm, don't freak out, and don't give up, because it looks like it is definitely going to take the time. trusting your dream. You know, I had literally no experience being a virtual assistant, and just keep that vision. At the end of the day, that's your intuition telling you something deep down inside is calling you to do that. And this is what happened to me. You know, I had a vision that I wanted to become a virtual assistant, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And when you do something with such passion, it gets a lot easier to succeed, because people will see that energy. They will see, they will respond. People who knew me before I moved to the UK tell me that I am a completely different person, because I do what I really love. I feel much more fulfilled. And take that next step. You do not know where is that next step going to take you. Just trust the journey. It is going to take the time. And, you know, you do not necessarily have to quit your job completely. You know, you can reduce your hours. I'll tell you what I did. I used to clean for 3 days, and then for 2 days, I would do virtual assistant business. Before I got any VA clients, I used to clean for a couple of days, and on the other days, I would be learning how to do the work for a virtual assistant. So you can, you know, completely do that at your own time. And think about it, you know, I'm still working, but at the weekends, I'm doing something that will get me to my dream.
And I'll find a way.
And
I
yes,
trust that
exactly.
process.
It's not a failure if you keep your current job to do something, you know, to allow you to pay your bills, to do this, to do that, you know, to give you your sense of security, because at the end of the day, we still need the sense of security. That's one of the things that's really important. And once, you know, once you put these steps in motion for your next step, then you take your next step. And I never knew where this one is going to take me. If you told me 7 years ago in 2013, I would be a coach, and I would be even thinking about going on a TEDx stage, because that's one of my dreams, I would tell you, you know what, me, never, never, no way. Like me, scared of public speaking, dreaming about becoming a speaker, impossible. And now I was like, oh, yes, I want to do that. I know I can do that. It's just like, I need to take the next steps to get there.
And it's also what I'm hearing about breaking those steps into small achievable steps, right?
Yes.
Sometimes we tend to think that, like, okay, launching a business, I need to do this, and this, finance, accounts, marketing, sales, deliver the content and do what I need to do. And it becomes overwhelming. So it's also about breaking those into smaller steps. And don't think, what is this going to be like in 1 year time? When I think about it, it can really freeze me. But just ask myself, right, what can I do today with what I have, as you shared in your group today? Let's use resources, skills, and abilities that I have today. And let's see at the end of the day, where did this take me, right? What
Where
have
will
I
that,
from that?
yes, exactly.
How move I forward?
How do I, what is my next step? Hold that vision, hold that dream, you know, out there. And what is my next step today that will bring me closer to that dream? And that's how you move forward.
Fantastic. I have 2 more topics, and I'm also conscious of the time.
Oh, yes.
So this is not too long, and I hope that our viewers are actually enjoying this and going to enjoy if you're watching from a replay. So guys, if you have more questions for either Ena or me, feel free to put them in the comments. We will definitely find more time at the end to look at those again. You've touched upon the dreams, and there are 2 things that I want to definitely ask you today. One is, what are your next big dreams? If you're happy to share, because we might not want to give away everything, right?
No. So for me, I mentioned the TEDx stage, and last year when I was on an NLP training, up until that point, it felt like it's it's an impossible dream, something that I won't be able to do because I'm afraid of public speaking and I would lose my breath and, you know, start panicking. And now after I've gone through that training, you know, I told myself, you know what, I could do this. And I really want to get on the stage, speak in front of a huge crowd. I want to impact millions. I don't know how that looks like, to be honest. I had a vision that I am changing lives of many other people. How is that going to happen? I don't know. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to get on different stages and share my message. And that's, I have no idea how I'm going to do that. You know, I told myself, I'm just going to do what I do and ask myself, what's my next step, and take those steps. And one of the ways how I practice what I want to achieve is doing these interviews, because it allows me to get into that energy of sharing my message and reaching out like many people.
Right. And it's quite interesting because you said that you people don't no longer recognize the person you have become
No.
right now. So are you not scared to go on the stage and talk about, you know, hundreds and thousands of people?
If you asked me that a couple of years ago, I would say I'm petrified.
Yeah.
But now, you know, for a longest time, I've experienced trauma in life before. And for a longest time, I thought that trauma is always going to keep me stuck, that I will always be suffering. There's no a way I could move forward with my life. And last year, when I got rid of that during my NLP training, I told myself, you know, I thought it's impossible to get better. And my purpose revealed itself to me. I said, I want to share this message to people that no matter what kind of experience you've gone through, you can still progress in life. You can achieve the most amazing dreams. And that's one of the things that keeps me going forward. You know, it's not about in a way, it's not about my fears, it's about me sharing the message, because there are people out there who don't believe that. And for me, it's about reaching, sharing the message, telling them that there is a different life, that it's not just like, yes, of course I'll be like freaking out a little bit when I get there, but I have tools that I know how to use to, you know, help me get through that. And what they think of me, it's just, again, it's just their opinion. You know, for a long time, I was so troubled with what people thought of me, what people thought of what I'm doing. And it kept me caged. It kept me in such small space that I couldn't grow. And once I stopped caring, I appreciate that they have something to say. But again, at the end of the day, that's just their opinion, their filters, how they've, you know, experienced life before, what they've learned from others. And for me, it's just to show them that there is another way. And I want to empower people. You know, there will be people deep down wanting to achieve something, wanting to go for something else, but not believing. And I want to show them there is a way.
Yeah. And I can imagine, as a confidence and empowerment coach, by some of your messages, you actually do trigger people, right? Because if we don't press these triggers, it's like the person wouldn't react because there is something in them which they kind of feel that, yeah, for some reason this triggers me. And then I have an opportunity to think, make an opinion of that. And at least from what I have seen, sometimes it also happens that with time, people come back and realize, actually, you know what, at that time you were right, they just need the time to absorb that message. Maybe
Exactly.
if it's a different opinion, they are not used to accept it, reflect on it. They may never come to agree with you, but there could be also a point when they realize that, yes, actually, and I was right, and there is something for me to look into.
keep your mind open. And I'm just going to say this shortly. I was that person. You know, people would tell me something and I would be so triggered, like it would trigger something within me, and I would feel either upset or jealous, or there was emotional reaction, and I wouldn't be accepting of that. But you know, I hope that with my message, I know that these beliefs can be so hardcore, like a ball. And I want to share my message. So, you know, I want to share what I have learned, so that hard ball gets a bit softer, so other things can come through. Because I want to challenge those beliefs that they've had for such a long time, those hardcore beliefs. Because when you shatter those hardcore beliefs that are so ingrained and deep within you, the world is your oyster. I don't like that expression, but anything is possible. You can become unstoppable when you shatter those beliefs that you have taken on from everyone, that you have learned from others. Anything can happen.
And this is exactly why we are also having this interview, right? Because many people think that having a dream job is still just a nice phrase, maybe it's a naive and very optimistic concept, if you like. It doesn't happen. Maybe it can happen to people out there, but it can never happen to me. Exactly. And this is exactly the purpose of why we are having this conversation today. So my last question, and then we can see if we received any questions from our viewers. My last question for you would be, Ena, I can imagine that as a mom, it can be challenging, right? To fit everything that you want to do within 24 hours, within your day, within 7 days a week, especially when you have a child and your husband to take care of. So how did you manage this, you know, especially because your son is, I think, 2.5 years old, so he still needs the attention, and you were working through your working your way through your business, as I understand it correctly, also as you were, you know, pregnant and later on taking care of him. So how did you make it happen?
Well, I'm not sure if it fits for everyone, but I'm a high drive, high energy person. So during my pregnancy, I simply just, it didn't feel like work for me. I really enjoyed what I was doing. For me, it was just like really pleasurable thing to do. I worked until the day before I gave birth, and I could have gone even longer. I started working when my son was 5 weeks old. And that was mostly because I wanted to do something for myself, which is not just baby. I don't have family support in here. I don't have friends. So it was just me and my husband. And I thought, you know what? I need something for myself that will keep me sane. And just throughout those periods, you know, what was really important for me is to ask participation from my husband, because I refused to do everything on my own. I didn't want to be like dealing with everything on my own, because I knew it was important for me, whether for my mental health, for my physical health, to have my husband be like really involved in it. And he was, and he still is. Currently my son is out of nursery, so I do my work when he's asleep. And it's just like, okay, I'm accepting that this is situation right now. This is what I need to do to get over this situation. So I focus on doing the work, which is important. I don't think about, like, I don't stress myself about washing up not being done straight away. You know, you have to prioritize things. So sometimes I'm just going to tell my husband, you know what, I can't cook today. I can't even be bothered. I'm going to take some time for myself. You know, you have to prioritize what's important for you. What are your 3 top goals? For me, it's my mental health, the relationship with my husband and my son, taking care of my son, because he's our responsibility and he's so young, and growing my business, because for me, okay, I want to do this and this for my business, so I can start doing the creating courses. So it doesn't require a lot of my personal investment. So like time for me, because we've seen what happens.
Yeah.
And then if something happens like this again and I'm fully booked, I saw from other coaches that they're struggling, they cannot keep up with that. So for me, it's just like, okay, I need to start doing courses because it feels good to me. That's one thing. And it allows me to think about the future and how, you know, how I wanted to, how I see it going.
Perfect.
But it's
So
just about prioritizing.
Prioritizing. And then what I'm also hearing, really not feeling, I would say sometimes, and this is the feedback I've heard from some of the moms, they find it really hard and difficult to put themselves first, right? Because there is a children, husband, family to take care of, and they're really struggling to even, I would say, think that actually I can give myself the permission to have me time, to look at what is good for my well-being, my personal well-being, my mental health. And that could be different things, right? For some of the moms, that can be just doing something for pleasure, going for a walk,
Exactly,
whatever.
exactly.
For some moms, it could be doing something in their careers, and to feel that they can self-express themselves and they can grow their career potential even while they're taking care of the families. So it means different things, but it comes
For different,
from
exactly. And that's exactly what happened to me. One part of taking care for myself was starting to work when my son was really, really young, because I remembered everyone saying, oh, I don't even know where my head is, and it's so difficult to go into work once it has been such a long time. And I thought to myself, you know what, I just can't think of the babies and nappy and poo and, like all that stuff. I need something for myself. And I thought to myself, you know what, if I don't take care of myself, my health, nobody is.
Yeah.
And if I'm not well, what happens to my son? Who's going to, he's not going to have a mom if I'm not well. So, and I want to teach him from a very young age that as much as he has needs and everything, I also have needs for myself. So, it's also teaching him that he needs to take care of himself at some point in life, of his own health.
Perfect. I think that's very clear. So let's have a look,
Thank you.
see if we have any questions.
Oh, I can't see anything. Let me try to refresh.
Yeah, I'm recording, so unfortunately I cannot click on my page on Facebook, but let's see here if we see anything.
It doesn't seem, for me, it's not loading. I'll try. I'm just checking on my phone. No, it's just that one comment.
Perfect. So what I would say then, I'm going to come up with one more question to close the interview. And then at the end, I would like you to also share with us, because you also have a Facebook group, so you can let people know where they can find you, so they can reach out to you. So my last question would be, we've touched on so many things today, but I would say for you, what was the hardest, the number one hardest thing that you feel you overcame on your dreamed up journey to get where you are today?
What was the hardest? My personal mindset. So like all those negative beliefs, the fears, all these negative emotions, everything that was so deeply rooted within myself. There were times that I just wanted to give up on the self-development work, because it's too much work and it's requiring for me to change a lot. But I wouldn't change a thing. You know, I wouldn't change a thing now that I've done it. You know, I've released so much, and that was one of the most difficult things to get over. It was, there were so many moments I had, you know, my son was ill, and that's a different story, but
Mm.
definitely, you know, the challenges, the personal challenges, you know, the inner conflict.
Inner conflict, mindset,
Definitely.
limiting beliefs, sometimes even the
Everything
negative
that,
inner
you know,
dialogue, right?
exactly everything that I have known,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there was a clash between everything that I have learned so far that I've known, and then the possibilities, and then how do you merge that into one, and how do you stop that, and just overcoming and getting rid of everything that you have known.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the, I think, that not most difficult but most challenging,
Yeah,
but so worth
fantastic.
it.
So worth it because you come
Yes.
out of the on the other side, right, with new
Yeah.
realizations, new possibilities. Thank you so much, Anna, for finding the
My
time today,
pleasure.
for sharing your stories, and for people who would like to reach out to you, connect to you, or maybe join your Facebook group, please tell us
Yes.
where what it's called and how they can find you, and later on we can
Yes.
also post the link below this video.
Yes. So my Facebook group is Irresistibly Confident Woman. Join
Mhm,
us there.
mhm.
Uh, and you can find me on my Facebook page. If you link to my profile, there will be a link. It's Ena Bautista Mindset and Strategy Coach. And if you simply follow any of those links that we will include, or send me a personal message, you know, just click on that message, send it over, and then I can point you in the right direction. My website is enabautista.co.uk. And I would really, if there is something that you would like to ask me, please do. You can still leave the comments. I'll try to get to those later on.
Mhm.
I'll share my story, but I think I've shared a lot. And if you feel like there is something that I could help you with, please, you know, the first step is asking for help, you know, just like getting curious what's possible, and, you know, click that message and I'll respond, and we can take it from there.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing. We
My
will post
pleasure.
those links below so people can reach you easily. And
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
everyone, I want to leave it with an open possibility for you. Anna shared today during this interview that she was often asking herself, what if? What if this was possible for me? What would happen if? And I'm gonna leave this good night story for you with an inspiring question for yourself. So ask yourself, what could you make possible in your life, in your career, for yourself? Ask yourself, what if this was possible? What if finding my dream job was possible? And let us know how your journey is going. And if you have any questions about your career change, if you are struggling, feel nervous, then feel free to reach out either to Anna or to myself. We'll be more than happy to support you on the journey. So have a
Thank you.
fantastic night. Night, night. Bye, guys.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you for joining us, Anna.